Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Part 43. And for the first time in the history of Let's Play, there's actually music playing when the video starts as opposed to it just being deathly silent and it freaking me out over like, is the game muted or not? And most of the times the game isn't actually muted, it's just there's no sound for long periods of time. We, in the last video, almost finished up the first half of the last section of the trial. Well, it's the first half of the second trial section of the last case. We're just gonna advance the dialogue. So I suppose it's not an impossibility after all. You know, we proved that like the pendulum thing about the rope, and I mean, we kind of knew they were gonna go that direction way before. I mean, they very clearly like telegraphed that, so it's not like it's out of nowhere. It is just like not a great, I mean, I don't know, I mean it's kind of nitpicky, but it is also like really dumb. Possible, I mean, like I would have actually preferred if it was like actually there were magic powers and that's how they flew. Like that would have been more realistic to me. Like in universe. Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Wright, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum? I don't know. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. Oh no. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple. So then, that was the spot where the criminal... Yes, precisely. Now let's consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here, it would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop? Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence that just her body dropped some distance. What kind of evidence? Oh, the autopsy report. Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death. That is a good explanation for the falling 10 feet, though. I will give them that. 10 feet, huh? That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. That's... Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off of Miss Elise's staff. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found. Indeed, I believe it's already marked on the overhead map. The crystal was found, precisely, Your Honor, in the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You know, providing us with the way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. I still think it's kind of dumb, but, you know, whatever. Mr. Wright! Thought this cold coffee might help cool you down. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot? That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Wright. But you forgot about one thing. Oh, what would that be? The aroma. Huh? A coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma. The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffinese. Can you elaborate a bit more? If the criminal had sent the body to the other side like you say, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it. Yeah. So this is going to be our avenue to introduce the two irises. An accomplice? The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Wright? Oh, you activated our trap card? Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do. Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice. Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. My throat's still a little, like, fucked up, so I'm you know, not at best. There's gonna be some voice cracks like that. Who was the person who received the body? That would be regular Iris. It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? What? But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transfer the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You know, the only one that could have managed it. I mean, technically she could have been lying about the back. We didn't have her, like, medically examined, but... Wright, were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pot, don't say that, was on the cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath. Oh, I haven't forgotten. But have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim. Strange indeed. Almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in two different places at the same time. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using this sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established that the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something that you should have already known. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with. What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright? What? What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple? Are you serious, Wright? You mean this woman is... There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday. And why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. Okay, that actually is pretty cool. But, like, I still feel like that's not a contradiction, though, because it would have been Dahlia who did the pendulum stuff. Because Iris would have just been there on the other side to transport the body. I mean, I guess she would have seen the rope pendulum and everything, but... Theoretically, this could have still been Iris, and she wouldn't have known about the pendulum stuff because she wasn't there doing the murder. Because it was Dahlia who did the murder and everything, and then would have set up the pendulum to transport the body. Iris would have just been there on the other side to receive it. Unless, because we know it had to have been Dahlia that actually did the murder. And it was real Iris at Hazakura Temple, unless it was Dahlia who did the desecrating and real Iris did the murder, but that doesn't seem right. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand, her real name is... I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. It's just your imagination, Gramps. As file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case, 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. Hi, the honor is all mine. Oh no, the honor is all mine. But according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. I mean, he's not wrong. What? Order! Wait a moment. How can you? My sister, she's already dead. What kind of... You of all people should already understand, after all. The blood of the master of the crane channeling technique flows within that body. The crane channeling technique? Oh, where have I heard of that? That's right, you're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was? That sounds fucking stupid as hell. That could only happen in some sort of video game. Well, if you're gonna put things that way, then yes. We're supposed to believe a coincidence just like that just happens? Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. Almost like it was some sort of script, if you will. It's all written right here in these instructions. What's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. Two of them. Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell. In other words, 10 p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris. And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne. You don't even know what you're saying, Wright. This all channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans to talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. Also, he's out of coffee. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris. What? What? Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, I didn't think this was Dahlia. Like, I feel like her lack of knowledge made sense since she wouldn't have been the one who did the murder. With their meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. It was later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that. Phew, thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced. Something still seems off. Way off. I mean, she has been acting weird all of a sudden, ever since he brought that up, so... It's not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from that night. I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous? Like the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places. I mean, it could have. That would mean that real Iris did the murder, though, which is not good for our defense. To be perfectly honest, there's still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know. Unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia. Which means we must have switched places somewhere. Oh, during the earthquake. That's what we're going for. Because they're saying that not that they switched back during the murder, but they've switched since she's been in custody, which would have been during the earthquake. So the Iris... Yeah, that's gonna be it. But we don't have any evidence about the earthquake. Since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Explain yourself. I don't really have any evidence, or... I mean... You know, because this didn't say anything about Miles being, like, scared of earthquakes. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown. Unknown? What do you mean? What I mean is, sorry, edgy boy, you're about to get thrown under the bus. It was a span of time which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that? I'm sorry, I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was... Okay, so that's how we're gonna do it. Well, I was like, I know they're gonna ask for evidence, but, you know, I didn't really know what fit, but the way they phrased the question, you know, made it clear. This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor, it was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake? An earthquake? Oh my goodness, the inner temple. This kind of tremor might... How could I have... She fled. She escaped! We went to the inner temple right away. It's true, Iris is already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's a cool twist. So that does beg the question of where's the real Iris, then? I'm trying to think. I mean, God, she could be in the cavern. Because I mean, the one lock... Because it's possible when the earthquake happened, there was only one lock. And that would be the one that Iris could open. And then Dahlia put the other 4 up. So or the other 5. Like, it's possible that Iris could have unlocked the lock going into the cavern to hide out. And then Dahlia came right behind her and put up the other 5 locks. And then pretended that she didn't know how to open them, even though she was the one that put them up. Possibly? That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here! No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and... Be quiet. Oh, that's her. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge. That voice! Guess I'll have to ask again. Name and occupation? Upon meeting a beautiful lady, I always ask for her name and profession. One of my rules. I mean, you really shouldn't have outed yourself here, dummy. Like, if you'd played dumb, the judge has a good point about, this is some dumb shit that wouldn't hold up in a court of law. I mean, I would hope it wouldn't. They're like, oh yeah, you're actually possessed by a spirit. That's why you did it. I got found guilty. I would be so mad. Dahlia Hawthorne in my current profession, permanently retired. Oh man, that's the dream right there. So you're not gonna bother hiding your identity anymore, huh? Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me. It's like it's like the evil version of Edgeworth's face. It's just going to the opposite side. What is going on here? Dahlia Hawthorne. Never thought we'd meet again, and I never thought we'd meet like this. This time, I'll end it. For her, and for myself. I mean, that's a cool little reveal. I do like that. I've been a little down on the whole, like, twin sister angle, but that is cool. I really did want to beat this game today too, but like I don't know if I can do it because like my voice is I mean it's like it doesn't like hurt. It's just like I am constantly like muting this mic to cough and like hack up along. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness. Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that if we're going to learn the truth, we need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. When you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die. Oh, and that's probably why she agreed. Because I have been kind of wondering why Dahlia would go along with this, because, you know, she doesn't really have a stake in all the spirit channeling stuff. And she did just show disdain for Morgan Fay, which kind of seems in character, but it's probably she wants to kill Maya just to get back at Phoenix. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. So that means you really are. Wait a minute. You just say the plan was to kill Maya Fey? Okay, so that does line up with my idea that Misty Fey was an uncontrolled variable. Like, they didn't really know about her being there at first. Or, like, she didn't factor into the plan. Yes, you have a problem with that? Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, Wright. So it could be that... Because, I mean, I'm kind of on the idea that Misty figured out the plan ahead of time. Either, you know, independently, or it's simply just because Pearl showed her the letter when she was showing that word. Which would mean, so if Misty knew about the plan, she may have tried to, like, get herself killed instead of Maya, maybe? I don't know. Because, I mean, there is still the... Because the biggest question right now is definitely, like, who summoned Dahlia? Because Pearl is saying she didn't do it. Iris couldn't have done it. The only other person at the Inner Temple is Misty, Bikini Briefly, and Maya. I mean, Maya could have been, like, tricked or something into, like, when she was doing her training into summoning Dahlia? Which would have protected Maya in that sense, maybe. Because if Maya was the one who summoned Dahlia, then I guess Dahlia can't kill Maya. That would be kind of... I don't exactly know the logistics of how it would work, but that would be kind of interesting. If maybe somehow... I mean, tricked is maybe not the right word, but, like, you know, when she was doing her training, like, she was instructed to channel this spirit, and so she channels Dahlia. I don't know if Dahlia would be able to just, like, kill herself like that. I don't know exactly how that would work. So maybe instead, since she was summoned by Maya, she couldn't kill Maya and then kills Misty instead. Like, she's able to figure out that she's the master. And then Maya goes into hiding or something, like maybe out of grief if she figures out what happened. I don't know. I mean, it's a little far-fetched, and we need to iron out the details, but I could see something like that happening. Because that's still like the biggest question right now, is just who summoned Dahlia. And really the only answers that, because it's Bikini or Maya. And Bikini, we have no real reason to assume did it. You got a problem. Solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Godot is correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well. Kill Maya? Could it be true? You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. And I wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan. Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter. I want to make Pearl Fay the master of Crane. She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister Missy took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. Wow, what a loser! You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. And your twin sister Iris. That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father. Abandoned? The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general. How horrible. The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power. Unfortunately for her, Morgan Fay heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. Well, I mean, Pearls wasn't, they were kind of manipulating her. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearls wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Fay as well. How could anyone do that? So, you were going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. And I'd have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me. Because, I mean, there is still the question of, like, who is she inhabiting right now, as well? I mean, it could, like, I don't really know how, like, it could be, well, no, because I mean, the timeline doesn't match up. Because it would have had to have been done before the earthquake. And, I mean, we've met Pearl and Bikini and all of them since then. But we haven't met Maya. I'm kind of like really on this idea that that Maya is the one channeling Dahlia this whole time. So like this is actually Maya we're talking to? Because I guess there's no reason to assume that the channeling would have stopped. Because it's possible that Dahlia just like, you know, took over direct control entirely and is like not, and Maya can't cancel the channeling. Yeah, I like that. I like this idea that we're actually talking to Maya right now. Or like this is Maya's body. Because I think it's the only one that makes any sense. Because we've seen Pearl since then. We've seen Bikini. Those are the only ones we know with any spiritual power. Misty's dead. So the plan was to blame the crime on our younger twin. On Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. This one better witness me killing Maya. Naturally, they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night, but she wound up seeing Iris' crime anyway. Why'd you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she? You haven't gotten to this point that she's just like a cartoon villain? Twin sister, don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Oh yeah, they did say something about like she helped in the diamond stuff. So maybe she like caught a conscience through the last second? I don't know. That is one thing we still haven't really addressed yet. You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway. Because I'm guessing Iris is maybe the explanation for how she was able to live through getting dropped into the river. You think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Now the title of Master will pass on to Pearl Fey. That's absurd! Maya is just... She's just trapped inside the sacred cavern. And it could be that if this is Maya's body, and Dahlia is retaining control, if she finds herself guilty, and then gets, like, executed again, it would actually be killing Maya. Maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know, I really like this idea. I hope they go with it. You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeny. You want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your stimbling naivety and your pathetic faith in other people. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fey's plan? I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling our own greedy desires. But that's what you do. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. If that's how you feel, then why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? I mean, Phoenix, you know the answer. You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So then tell me, why? Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction. What did you say? This woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey. Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious. I wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan and her plan so she could accomplish her own goal. All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge. Revenge? It looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. Gotta keep a cool head. I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. What evidence? I guess the Maya thing? I know it's a pause for 1 second. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. So I don't really know what to present. I'm thinking the lantern, but I don't really know where or why. I just have a feeling I should present the lantern. He did say something about needing more information still, like at the end of loop dialogue, and I wonder if that means that maybe if we press statements again, there'll be something new? It just happened in the past? So I'm just gonna kind of like repress and skim. Because, like, I mean, I feel like the motive is to get revenge on Phoenix, but I don't know. I feel like none of our evidence really would prove that. Oh, could it be that the Maya message is actually supposed to be telling us that? Because I'm like full in on this, that this is Maya's body thing. That's like supposed to be telling us who was channeled Dahlia? Or who is channeling her? Because we still haven't really... Because obviously the plan was to kill Maya. Why did Misty end up dying? That's like, I guess, the contradiction of what she's saying. She wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway. She's your twin sister. Wahaha, I'm evil. Plan went wrong. You think the plan was a success? You heard me, just as I would have hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey. She's like, nah, I wouldn't help him. Present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. Okay, so we're in full-on guessing territory. I didn't mean to do that. Why I would kill Maya Fey now? I mean, the goal... I mean, do we? Well, we don't show up as a person. I was gonna say, could we just present Phoenix with our attorney's badge? That piece of evidence. So I mean, stuff that hasn't been used yet. Attorney's badge. I really like the idea of it being the attorney's badge. I don't think it is, but like. It would be like kind of dumb, but also pretty cool. If that was the answer. I really want to do it. I gotta do it. Okay, it's not it. But what if it was? Because that's like the closest thing to a connection to Phoenix. I mean, that would have, okay, it's one of those things where it's like both, you know, I thought it would have been cool and I also would have been pissed. So I'm glad it's not that. I don't mean to do that. I think I'm just like gripping the controller and hitting it by accident. Okay, so let's try the lantern. I don't really know how it pertains, but because it doesn't. Okay, the knife? So I'm just looking for stuff that we haven't presented yet. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be this line of dialogue either, but... But, like, you didn't kill Maya. That's the objection. Maya wasn't murdered. Because we still don't know the significance of the hood either. Like, I mean, it's been used as evidence once, but like, I feel like the hood is still... So like, because I mean, if Iris knew about the plan and protects from evil spirits. I mean, I think Dahlia qualifies as an evil spirit. Yeah, like, I'm a little lost. I don't know. Like, I don't think the question is, like, I feel like this isn't bad. I think I'm just lost. Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to succeed... The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. So we're just guessing. Because I have no clue. Like, I don't really know what line of dialogue to present on in the first place. Like, I'm not super confident it's this last one to begin with, and even then I don't know what evidence. She meant to kill Maya. I've got to keep a cool head. I need to get more information out of her. But, like, we've pressed everything a second time, and nothing new popped up. Or was she just trying to kill Maya to get revenge on Iris? Like, was she just wanting to pin the blame? Did she just like that idea of pinning the blame on Iris? Because it seems like she has some animosity towards her. So maybe it's not necessarily just getting revenge on Phoenix. Yeah, I guess we have to pause because like I have no clue. Like I'm just lost, and we're like timed in the video, so. Okay, I'm so dumb. It didn't occur to me until like, just like it took like 2 or 3 minutes. It's she wanted revenge on Mia, not fucking Phoenix. That makes so much sense. Yeah, that's a good question. I just was lost. I was too focused in on the idea of getting revenge on Phoenix just because she hates him, but because she wouldn't have any knowledge of Phoenix and Maya's relationship. Now that I think about it, so she wouldn't know that Maya is close to Phoenix. Therefore, her killing Maya wouldn't be revenge on Phoenix, but she would know, based on the names and everything, that Maya is Mia's sister. Killing Maya, revenge on Mia. That's a good one. But your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore. Because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead. And you can't take revenge against them either. Ah, yeah. You wanted to take revenge on someone. I was sentenced to die because of that woman. Mia Fey. Somehow knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain that she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible? Was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died? Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead. And how do you do that? Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans. Just for that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless. Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me. Guess we'll learn if there is indeed a thing we can do to her in the next video. That's a good question. I definitely was like stumped on it. But like it makes perfect like logical sense. Like the idea that, because like I was just like focusing on the idea of her getting revenge against Phoenix, but she wouldn't know about Phoenix being friends with Maya, or like them being close to each other. So, but she would know about Maya and Faye, or Mia and Maya, due to the Faye name and everything, and plus she probably just knows from talking to her mother. But yeah, alright, we'll see how this goes. We probably got, what, maybe 3 videos max left? Oh boy, that's exciting. I did want to beat the game today, but I'm probably just going to wait and do it tomorrow, just because, just that I'm not, like, constantly having to mute and cough and everything. I'm Extra Cheese 87, stay tuned for the next part, and bye, guys.